Hey everyone, and welcome! It's Friday, which means it is time for another Paint and Slay here for Idle Champions. And today I has a Remorhaz.
It is the spikiest of boys. Look at
Yes.
that. Look at those spikes.
This is a little user. I don't want to call it a warning, but I have dealt with this Remorhaz miniature a few times, and each and every single time got bite. There are these spines that happen on the side. So just when you are handling this, be careful. Yes, it's a little pokey. So
just like the real thing. It's very pokey.
Yeah.
Be careful, adventurers, when you handle.
It's going to attack unexpectedly. Actually, it lives up to what it is.
There is literally not a part of this mini that isn't spiky. There are extra spikes coming off the face, which has spikes. There are spikes down the back. The frill is spiky. There are spikes down the front. The legs are spiky. Like, the tail has a spike on the end. And it is, I'm calling this spiky.
I was going to say, did you just name him?
I mean, how can you not? How can you not? It's wonderful. But yes, we have, this is going to be 2 weeks of me going,
ow.
But it will be super cool when it's done.
Yep.
It'll be super, super cool.
Yeah, as sweet Aura PS for live, not child safe. No.
No, the mini is not safe for kids, and the real creature is not safe for adventuring parties. So this is a CR30 mini.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to your fingers. And I don't remember the CR rating in the
off
game.
The top of my head. God,
it's high.
It's higher. Yeah, it's definitely one of the higher ones. It's also it's technically huge in size. So scale time. So we have a medium next to this. See, ta-da. And then we have a large.
Hi, Helen. Hi, Helen. How you doing?
Yeah, but it's gonna come with one of the huge black base plates, which I have misplaced mine. Lauren has hers.
I have mine. Hold on, wait.
See, so that's one of the huge black discs. I am very good about taking the black discs out and then frisbeeing them somewhere else because I have so many. But just keep that in mind. You'll have a base that you can pop this onto, but it's a sizable mini on its own. But before we get into that, we have lots of cool things that are happening, right? So we want to let's talk about that first before we get into painting.
Yeah, so a couple quick announcements. First, I did look it up, and the Remorhaz is a challenge rating 11, which is pretty darn high. Pretty darn high. Second, if you're here in chat, especially if this is your first time joining us for Paint and Slay, welcome. If you haven't guessed by now, the point of this show is that we paint some of the creatures that you can find in Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. So if you do have questions about painting minis, about Remorhazes, about Idle Champions, about spikes, go ahead and put those in chat with question in big capital letters before your question, because we have the amazing Martin as our moderator today. Yay! Martin will be grabbing the questions from chat and putting them into a backstage chat, because while I will often be looking at chat, hi chat, how you doing? I will also be very carefully handling this Remorhaz and painting it. And so sometimes I'm not looking. So if you ask a question, Martin will make sure that we get a chance to see it. Also, the event that has our 100th champion, I don't know why that was hard for me to say, is out right now.
I'm so excited.
Dungeon Master is available in game. So if you haven't had a chance to boot up Idle Champions, now is the time, because Dungeon Master from the original cartoon is in the game. Yay! And finally, as a reminder, this is the last couple of days that you have to purchase the Dottie the Dandelion Familiar, which is a donation for Conservation International. There we go. Words are going to happen. Yes. You can purchase that through May 4th, and all net proceeds will go towards Conservation International. And then you get an adorable little familiar in your game, a little dandelion who will help you out. Hi.
That's not creepy at all.
And Loyal Krebob, thank you for subscribing. Enjoy your emotes. And I think that's all. And we can get into painting Spiky Boy.
Yes, I saw someone mention ouch. I am actually liking that because half the time I've handled this, I have said that very word. So mine is going to be ouch.
I would name mine after what I do when I get poked with it, but I go a lot, and I'm not exactly sure how to spell that.
It's got like an umlaut.
But yes, we're going to be doing this over 2 weeks, and I'm sure you're going to be hearing a lot of. But then it's going to be a super awesome
all
mini.
For the details, right? It's absolutely all for the details. So yes, we're going to have fun. If you are new, what I tend to do is I will speak to the color names that I have from Vallejo Game Color line. However, I will also give you generic color names as well, as best as I can. And when we're mixing paints together, I'll give you thereabout ranges of what type of color you're going to head towards for when you're painting this miniature. Keep in mind.
That brings up sorry to interrupt, but that brings up a good point, because we do have a lot of new people who are joining us. If you do want to join us for either future minis or want to go back and watch some of our YouTube videos for past minis, you can find all of the details for the things that you need on the Discord, discord.gg/Idle Champions. We have a Paint and Slay channel in there where pinned in that channel is all of the stuff that you need in order to paint any of the minis we're doing. I use pretty much everything that we talk about. So, and it's really not that much. It's basically, here's a paint set, here's a brush set, which you'll use for all the minis, and then here's some little things that you might need here and there in the mini, and then you're good to go. So join us on the Discord.
Please do. The other thing is the minis we use are the WizKids minis, D&D Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures lines. They all come primed ahead of time, so we don't have to worry about doing that step of priming your mini, which make sure if you're using a mini that is not primed that you do prime, because if you don't prime, then your paint will flake, and then that's a pain when you have to go back in and touch it back up. So priming
that was almost a poem, and I was very impressed.
Thank you. I had a word, but I wasn't sure if I could say the word.
Okay, well, but I like the words that you used. I was like, this is beat poetry for painting.
Ta-da!
I like it.
So yeah, just keep in mind, you won't have to worry about priming. I did go through, and I had a couple of more noticeable mold lines on my miniature, so I went through with my little hook remover. There is a mold line remover, which, there you are. I was going to say, which apparently mine went into hiding. So if you ever see one of these, this is a mold line remover. It's just something you can skim across a mold line, which is a raised line on your miniature, and you can just pull it off, and they're quite safe. They're not sharp. You can see I'm just sort of being abrasive, not cutting. And it'll just strip that away, or you can use something like a nail emery board on like a buff level. Not buff as in strong, buff as in you would smooth. This guy's already buff. We're good. So that's just some pre-work that you can do ahead of time with your minis as well. Though for the most part, if you want to pop these minis out of their packaging and get right to work, you really can, especially if you're keeping to what is called the 3-foot rule. The 3-foot rule is you hold out your miniature 3 feet away. If it's looking good, you're good to go. It's not like we're going to be painting these for competition level type of painting. This is definitely geared towards intermediates and beginners. I'll give you some tips along the way. And Lauren is also doing the same thing along with me. And then we tend to share these pictures on social media afterwards. So do make sure to check out our @s respectively and find us, so you can catch what they look like in process as well as when done. All right, that all being said, that was a lot of words. We're going to jump into...
all important things.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that happens behind the scenes when you're painting minis. So...
But good to know.
It is. So we're going to start off first with, basically, it's for Game Color, it is called black, and then Bloody Red. Now, Bloody Red from Game Color is essentially your classic primary red. So if you have other paints at home, go for a primary red. That means one that's not super warm, so it has an orangey tone, or one that's not super bluish, so it has a cool tone. So we're going to mix these together, and we're aiming for a maroon, so we can go in and paint them out. So really, it's like a dot and a dot, or a drop and a drop for these two. And then just sort of...
Because we're only doing the mouth.
Mm-hmm. Only the mouth. There's not a lot of red on this one. Well, at least there's not a lot of dark red on this one. Okay. We will be getting into the reds, but that's going to be next week. Based on my notes.
Hey, and your notes have not steered us wrong yet.
Well, that's good.
I mean, we've done 24 episodes and they haven't steered us wrong. So I have no reason to believe that they will now.
There we go.
Also, we got a suggestion, a full name suggestion for our Remorhaz from Miki Murasao, who says, Spike the Adventure Slayer, which, you know what? With all these spikes, yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, so I brought some of the black to my dot of red to create this dark maroon. So you can see I didn't mix all my black in.
Very dark, yeah.
Yes, it's a very, very dark, because if you look at the official art, it's a very dark red that is inside that chomper. And then once I have that mixed, I do have a mixing brush just for mixing the paints together. I'm going to jump over to a detail brush. Yeah, let's use the Red Grass Games one.
Okay.
But if you're using a normal detail brush, you can use anything that's the over zeros means they're more detail brush oriented. I'm going to use my 2/0 from Red Grass Games, but that would be tantamount to the 10/0 from the Mod Podge line that Lauren will be using.
10/0, okay. I got all my brushes down here because I've been told that we're going to need a lot.
Yes. She asked and I said, all the brushes.
Brushes. Every brush.
Gonna do a little tweaky here.
This brush, come on. There we go. And just the inside of the mouth,
Just the inside of the mouth. Yep. If you get it on some of the teeth, again, that's always okay. But, yeah. Looking on the outside, it's all light blue.
One of the things I've learned is that one of the reasons we try to do things in the order in which we do is so that you can have those moments of, well, it's okay if I get this, if I color outside the lines accidentally, because I'm going to be painting over this anyway. And you know what? It's just paint. You can always paint over it.
I'm also going to caution when you go to hold this upside down, don't hold it by the points. Look at my fingertips
which
right
is
now.
hard.
It is.
Good luck trying to find a way to hold it not by the points.
Ouch.
That is the
You
point.
were appropriately named. Ouch.
Ouchie. Ouchie, ouchie.
Okay, so while we are attacking this Remorhaz, have you ever had to actually attack a Remorhaz in game, be it Idle Champions or your D&D campaign?
Well, definitely in Idle Champions. I'm trying to think in D&D if I have ever actually fought. I have sent a reskinned Remorhaz up against my podcast. It wasn't drastically reskinned. I just made a few modifications, so it wasn't just your standard Remorhaz.
Right.
But so I have DM'd a Remorhaz, but I don't think I've actually fought one myself. How about you?
I have had a few encounters with these suckers.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And each time you have to, of course, not get too meta about it. Thankfully, each time I have encountered them, I'm a freaking ranger. So the first thing I pull out is it's also one of those things you use. Why am I forgetting what it's called? Because I ranger enough, but it's basically to find out what the vulnerabilities are, etc., of the particular monster. So I whip that out right away. So I'm like, guess what, friends? Like, now we don't have to worry about the meta factor. We know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I got the.
Yeah, I've got pretty much most of it. The funny thing is the teeth are kind of a light blue, so we'll get to that later. But right now you can see it's dark in there. It's definitely dark in there. So that is the mouth. Now,
and while we pull up for what's next, Orion Noir is asking where the mini is from because, welcome. Yeah, you missed the preamble, but that's okay. We're always happy to. It's a 2-hour show. There are going to be people coming and going. This is from WizKids. They're
D&D
Nozzlers?
Nolzers. D&D Nolzers Marvelous Miniatures. It's the official Dungeons & Dragons miniature line.
You figure I'd have that by now. Okay, what's next?
Next, we're going to need ultramarine blue and black, and we're going to make a dark navy, and we're going to be painting the body and the legs. We're going to be avoiding these spikes on the back and the fins. Okay, so actually they're called wings, even though they're not functioning. So we're going to avoid the wings. Am I bleeding? No, I got some of the bloody red on me.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm like, we wait 15 minutes. We made it 15 minutes. It's okay, everybody. It's okay. It's just paint. So we're going to be avoiding that moment of like.
I was like, oh, crud, I know it poked me. I didn't realize it hurt me. So we are going to paint the body, leaving the fins alone, trying to avoid the spikes as much as we can. Like, if you get around the base of the spikes, that's okay. And we'll also get the legs. And like our friends lately, the Drider and the Spider, we had a lot of legs to deal with, and we're keeping up with that trend, folks. So we're gonna make
more and more legs.
Yeah, we're gonna make a nice dark navy, and then we'll paint it on those areas, which I will reiterate again. I am laughing over getting blood. Oh, that's why I got some on the cap. That'll do it.
Ah, yeah.
How did I get paint on me already? It was such a
I
little
mean,
dab.
I get paint on me all the time, and I have no idea how.
Yeah. So we're gonna need a decent amount. So I'm gonna do 2 parts ultramarine blue to 1 part black, and then we want to make sure we are thinning this out because this has texture. Lots and lots of texture, as you can see here. So we want to make sure the paint is thin enough to float down and into those recessed areas of the sculpt.
All right. And you said we're looking for what kind of blue?
A navy blue.
Okay.
Yeah. So think of like, a nice navy blue blazer. For like a conductor of a train or a flight attendant, navy blue. What else is a good? Because blueberry blue. A blueberry blue would also work. Hey! I'm trying to think of what's a good food reference because there's not that many blue foods outside of blueberries.
I mean, and blueberries are delicious. And yeah, nom nom nom. It's funny you said the conductor of a train, and if anyone's been watching Children of Erte, immediately I started thinking about the conductor on that train who has left because things have gotten weird.
Oh no.
I mean, I won't go into spoilers, but yeah.
And they're just like, I'm out.
Yeah, when people end up in weird places and suddenly you think they're ghosts haunting your train and
that'll
yeah, we're in a weird place. Children of Erte is amazing but I'm in it, so hey, but
not at all
it is a game that I'm super enjoying, but I might be slightly biased.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming we're going to want a fairly large brush for painting this big boy.
A larger brush, yes, for painting this, absolutely. You also want to make sure, like I said before, you thin the paint out. So actually, I'm kind of aiming for, then I'm gonna it's actually more of like a dark denim that I'm ending up with. So let's say nice dark denim, and yes, I'm gonna paint myself for swatches, folks. So this is the color I've ended up with.
All right.
Yeah.
Mine might be a bit brighter than that, but I'm pretty happy with it, so I think I'm going to stick with it instead of doing... I'm that person who I go, oh, this should be like a tiny bit darker, and then I do way too much, and then it's back and forth, so...
Teeter-totter. All right, so I'm going to thin my paint with just some nice clean water. I finally got a medicine dropper and glass bottle so I can keep just some fresh water, and it makes it a lot easier. So if you have anything at home that has a little dropper on it, trust me, if you're thinning paints, it makes life easier. But what you can do is in a separate thing, not your rinse water, dip a clean brush into some clean water and then, just hover it over your paint blot, and you can drop water in that way to thin your paints out. And again, for thinning your paints, you want to do this so that it floats on the surface and you can put on thin layers. You want to do thin layers on your miniatures because if you glob the paint on, acrylic paint has plastic in it. So when that paint dries, it becomes this hard surface. So if you have a thicker layer of acrylic paint, oftentimes it'll fall into those smaller details of the miniature, and when it dries, it obliterates the details. So when you thin your paints, which is a common mini painting joke, when you thin your paints, it helps keep those details better preserved. You don't want to do a super thick layer would be something where you can see like a layered texture, like right there. That's a thick layer of paint. Thin layer is just a quick stroke of the brush, and you can see it doesn't have texture or buildup to it.
Oh, now interesting. I went for I just started. I went for the tail. You went for the middle of the body.
I don't know why. I'm just like, I'm going to poke you here. Oh, I know why, because I'm going to work around the fins first. That's what was I'm thinking coloring book. When you were a kid and you'd go and you sort of color it in an area first?
Yeah. That's
kind of what my mental decision here was, I want to color around the fins, with the wings technically, from what I was reading up on. Body parts of Remorhaz's. Remorhaz?
Yeah, you don't get to watch them fly ever, but they are called wings.
They are called wings. So I kept calling them fins because they remind me of like fish fins. Like sailfish. Not selfish, sailfish.
the most selfish of fish.
Don't be sailfish.
Whereas I went for the tail because I said, we've just painted the mouth. I'm going to start at the opposite end.
Opposite side. That makes sense too. Long story short, you want to end up with this thing being mostly blue except for those areas we discussed of not painting blue.
Oh, and I just looked over at chat. Organic Snail says, I just painted my own Remorhaz on Saturday.
Yes.
Hey, nice. How did it
Sweet.
turn out?
Yeah.
And if you can, post pictures, because we're always happy if you, especially since we're getting into our own Remorhaz, go ahead and post some pictures and show us what joy you had with yours, and also how you got around the spiky bits, because spiky bits.
Spiky boy.
Yeah, so spiky.
Spiky
All
critter.
the spiky.
Spiky critter.
Yeah. And Bayneon says, as you were talking about RPGs, I have watched you both in various games online, but have you played together in a campaign? Not in a campaign.
No.
Not yet, but...
Not yet. Dun, dun, dun.
But hey, if there's anyone out there who's getting ready to start up an online game and it's something that we might be interested in, I would love the chance to play in a regular campaign with you.
Same.
I
pity the DM, though, because Lord knows we'll be off and running with tangents.
That's half the fun of a good campaign, though.
It is.
Yeah, we've been able to play in a bunch of one-shots with each other. And we have been guests on the same show at different in the same campaign at different times.
Yep.
Which was fun.
Because you did Orkira and I did Patty Jameson.
Patty. Yay, Patty.
Yeah. Hey, kids. Come see Aunt Patty. She'll give you a hug.
Our clerics need to meet at some point.
Yes. Oh my god, a furball and a dragonborn? Yes.
Well, and they've got such complementary personalities that I think that would be super fun.
I think it'd be adorable.
And also, your Patty is the first cleric that I think Orkira would ever encounter who has a similar relationship with their god that she does, like a very, not casual, but like, this is my friend as much as this is my god. Yeah,
that's just it. Because Patty does not, I say it wrong so often, I don't remember how the right name is supposed to be. She calls...
Jiggle instead of Jurgle.
Jiggle instead of Jurgle.
Yep.
And her holy symbol is a doorknob from a mausoleum that has Jiggle's symbol on it, is basically her whole thing. So that's why she calls Jurgle. See, I've done it to myself. Jiggle, because you jiggle a doorknob. That's the whole reason behind it for Patty.
Yeah.
But she's very, what? He's just right there. He's a buddy of mine, and every so often I just kind of put in a special request, and hey, things happen.
I just hope that he's around and, can answer my call, that kind of thing. Yeah. The two of them would get along famously.
Yeah. I think she's a Death Domain cleric who is just like Bubbles and Sunshine. So she's very like, what?
Yep. We were cleric ships passing in the night because my stint as a regular guest star in that show started not long after you guest starred on the show. So we were close. We were super close.
Yeah. It was fun though. I think it was also like V enjoyed, not me, V in the show, V. That doesn't get confusing at all. The character V enjoyed getting a big hug because she's about the same size as Patty.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I see Squeaky the Fool is asking, has the Remorhaz been given a name yet? I haven't settled on Spiky because I feel like it is very, very cliche, although I'm not upset with it. So I'm willing to take other suggestions, but V definitely, I think you're pretty happy.
I'm set with ouch.
Oh, but maybe if there's a last name that you're interested in. I could use a
last name. A last name would be great.
Yeah.
But ouch just fits the bill.
Yeah. I think I'm happy with Spiky, but I'm willing to entertain other options. Oh, wow. What happened? Why are you attacking my light? No.
See?
Literally just like crunch. No, don't attack the light.
They are feisty.
I need that light. There we go. Having to turn it around just to get there are these plates that are super cool, but like having to remember to turn it sideways in order to get under the plate has been the thing I've learned very quickly to do. Yeah. But it's super cool detail. I love
It
it.
is. It's great once we can get into, we'll do the dry brushing and detail work, probably next week. A lot of this is going to be base color week for the first episode.
I mean, a big boy, so that
He's
totally
big.
makes sense.
He's sizable.
Yeah. And I'm just I just know I'm gonna get on the base. I'm gonna do my best to try
Mhm.
not to get blue on the base, but
Oh,
I
it's
just know
okay
it's
if you
gonna
get some on
happen.
the base. If anything, it'll start turning into a shadow effect. So don't worry
Oh,
too
that'll
much.
be cool.
Yeah. So it's okay if you get some of that on the base.
Yeah, because especially in the armpits, that's
Mhm.
gonna be
The
an interesting
underarm piece. Yeah.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
How many
my
legs is
goodness.
this? 1, 2,
Too
3, 4,
many.
5, 6, 7, 8. It's eight. So 16.
Good lord.
That's a lot of legs.
Not a centipede.
Was
We know that. So what would it be? Trying to think of numbers. Number names, I should say.
I'm thinking of some of the other things that we had legs for. Is this the thing we've done with the most legs?
I
This
think
might be the thing we've
so.
done with the most legs.
Well, wait. We had the carrion crawler. Did
Well,
that
I was
have
looking at
legs?
the carrot. That's how I keep turning around because all my
Oh,
minis are
that
right over
makes
there,
sense.
and but I can't quite see
Yeah.
how many the carrion crawler had, but it might be close.
Yeah.
It might be tied. But yeah, it is. We just keep increasing the number of
do.
legs.
I'm
Next,
thinking-
well, actually, we're pretty sure we know what the next mini is going to be.
We do.
But I
Absolutely.
was joking. I was about to joke that next mini, no legs. But the next,
Yeah.
but well, you know, we should pick a mini with no legs. But
Yeah.
I know for a fact the next mini will at least have a couple legs.
I'm
legs
excited
are
for the
fun.
next mini. That'll be fun too.
If you want to talk about it, I think that's.
You wanna?
I know we still have to post the
Actually,
details.
probably a good idea because with this particular mini, we should sort of chat about it ahead of time. So we have a fun little switching up after we get through the 2 episodes of the, Spiky and Ouchie.
Yeah.
What we're gonna do, because our lovely Lauren is going to be taking a much and well-deserved break. I am
I'm just
going
gone
to
for a day
have-
or two.
Yeah, it's not. Don't worry. Lauren will be back. Calm themselves. But, and I'm so excited for
But-
this. Trevor is going to be joining me as the guest painter.
Yay!
So we're going to be painting with Trevor on the
Painting with Trevor.
painting with Trevor on the 13th, and we're going to be having some fun with owl bears.
yeah.
So we're going to be painting the Whiz Kids Owl Bear Mini, which I will show you guys at a more opportune time when my hands are not busy with a bunch of legs. Wait.
Phrasing. You know what? You're not wrong though. Legs. I am sad to be missing the owl bear, but I am so
Yeah.
happy that Trevor gets to do the owl bear, and someone needs to tell TTRP Gifts that an owl bear is going to be painted.
Making an appearance.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it was kismet because I had the owl bear mini already in my stash, and Trevor had the owl bear mini already in his stash. So we don't even have to worry about getting the mini ourselves. However, if you want to join us, get your owl bear
Mhm.
mini from your friendly local game store. Let them know you want the Whiz Kids version of that miniature. And join us May 13th for that fun.
Yeah.
And then again,
And
go to the Discord for the paints and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Discord.gg/idlechampions. I gotta get the hold on.
I will get
There we
you that because I did pull that list together at like last minute yesterday afternoon. So I will send that your way so we can get into the Discord.
Yeah, we'll get that posted.
Yeah.
Squeaky the Fool has a suggestion for a name, which is Ouch McFingers.
Ouch, my fingers. You know?
Which I do like. I like
I
that. That's a
do.
good pun.
Ouch, my fingers.
Ouch my fingers.
I mean, the fact
Ouch,
I had to
McFingers.
stop and worry that the red paint was not off brand at all.
Nope. Totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then Orion Noir says, I was going down the Ouchie McSpike face rabbit hole too. So that seems to be a popular
Ouch.
suggestion for yours, because you said you're keeping yours as ouch.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Ah!
Dare I ask?
I went to go touch it, and I touched it on a spiky bit,
And an ouchie.
and
Ouch.
yeah, ow, and I dropped it, but that's okay. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine.
I'm not getting as concerned about these smaller spikes as I get up the back of the tail because they're small, and we are going to go in with another color to help obliterate it. So,
Yeah, and
come on.
I'm at the point. I'm trying to stay on one side as
Mm,
I get these legs and I do all these
yeah.
crevices, and I'm definitely
Yes.
finding like, oh yeah, I totally missed that whole
Mhm.
spot on the legs. Here we go. I'm doing my best to keep the spikes clear, but
The joys of big minis.
the joys of bingins. Ow. Okay. All right. You're just gonna bite me there. Yeah, sure. Okay.
Oh gosh.
Neon Treon says, picture this. Okay. Catfolk druid with a saber-toothed tiger animal companion who doesn't start fights but acts like an alley cat.
Oh,
I mean,
funny.
I'm here for it. Absolutely.
I have had a tabaxi druid. Her name is
Yeah.
Bramble of Thorns, Circle of
Nice.
Wildfire. So her
Ooh.
little fire spirit was a bobcat named Schnarf.
Oh. Oh, that's
Yes.
adorable. That's wonderful. I love it.
Yeah. So I have played something similar to that concept, and it was so much fun.
All my tabaxi so far have been bards or rogues.
I honestly had so much fun playing Bramble because I pretty much played her like my one cat Rory.
Yeah.
And Rory is, I jokingly call her my teenage daughter, though maybe I should stop because she's taking me seriously now as a challenge.
Oh, yeah. No. That's not good. Not good.
Yeah. So it was fun things like, the DM was describing a room and there were crates, and I said, "Is there anything in the crates?" And he goes, "No, the crates are empty." I'm like, I jump in. I just did things like
If
that.
I fits, it sits.
That's basically what Brambles was. She was just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this." And we had this one encounter with a merchant at a little mercantile type of place. And she didn't like how he was negotiating with the one in the party who had the better charisma. So she was just kind of standing there, and she looked at the table and she knocked something off the table and walked away.
Did she keep eye contact with the owner the whole time?
Oh, absolutely. She looks at him and hits it off the table and walks away. That's
nice.
Yeah.
That's a intimidation check,
right?
For the ages, right there. I love it.
She was a lot of fun to play, and then the campaign came to an end, so I have retired her. But I might bring her out for a one shot here and there because she's just
fun.
Yeah, she's fun and quirky.
I mean, sometimes it's good to rebring those characters out. I keep trying to retire Orkira, and then every once in a while she just comes back. But she's in this video game that I like a lot. So
I can't imagine what video game that is.
I know. It's like she's hanging out in this video game and gets to do all these cool things in this video game, and so it's like it's kind of fun whenever I get to pull her back out again and be like, all right, what are we doing now? Oh, come on, legs. Come on, legs.
Right? I think I'm gonna switch. I don't know. I keep debating a smaller brush, and I'm at the point I'm like, you know what? Life is short.
I was also at the point with these legs and where I'd managed to paint most of it, but then I found a spot under one of the legs that I'd missed. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm getting blue on my finger.
Yep.
Oh, Neon Treon says, I now want to play a Tabaxi Drake Warden Ranger.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That would be fun. And just FYI, the legs, if you lift them carefully, they do move, so you can get underneath and on the base.
Yep, it's just I had already painted the one, and I'm like, well, I'm doing the blue. Blue's on my thumb. That's okay. Rat with Wings suggests, because I'm so into wordplay, I want to call one of the Remorhazes Mix Ramirez. Ooh, Mix Ramirez. I like it. Ooh. Because a pun that's not really a pun. Yeah. And Willy Wonka Nobi says, do they make gelatinous cube minis? I've never seen one.
Yes, I actually, there is a gelatinous cube out there for WizKids, and if you go to WizKids' YouTube channel, there is a tutorial that I have created for them.
We've talked about it a little bit because that is one of those minis that's like, all right, it makes sense that there would be a mini because it's such a popular monster, but how do you paint? How does Invisi-Paint happen?
It is one of those things it's really not so much paints so much as it is inks and washes for tinting.
Ah.
Yeah. So I would
I'm
recommend watch the video first and see what supplies you need because it's a different set of supplies for painting that particular miniature.
And there are plenty of gelatinous cubes in Idle Champions. Maybe one of these days we'll do one.
There we
We will
go.
paint one. But yeah, that is good to know that, like, because every other mini we have done on this show for the last
Yeah.
24 episodes has been a pretty standard mini to get. And then as
Mhm.
long as you have bought the basic paints and the basic brushes, you are good to go. You don't need
Yeah.
anything else, including like washes and things. So that would probably have to be a special
It would.
event.
Yeah, it would because I'd want you to get a hold of some inks, to be honest. Which I don't know if you have inks. I know you have a few of the washes.
I've got a couple washes because I did have some fun, and then I used to have some Nuln oil, and then I don't
Then you
anymore.
had too much fun with an old oil.
It was, I mean, fun is a way of describing ending up all over my desk. But hey, remember about 10 minutes ago when I completely dropped this mini all over my desk?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that, except with a bottle of wash.
Yeah, that ain't pretty.
Yeah, it happens. It happens, you know?
do.
So, but hey, you know, that's why I have paper towels all over my desk.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't so bad. But yes, that was a thing.
Yeah.
The only inks I have, because I had bought the set of the ink pens
Mm-hmm.
so that we could experiment with the Hypnotoad
Right.
with getting the eyes to do different stuff, and it was going to be
swirlies,
easier. Yeah, it was going to be easier with the ink pens, and I wanted to try them out, and they were super inexpensive for a set of 4.
Yeah.
So I now have more ink pens that I know what to do with, but it was super fun.
That was the funny thing because I was looking for an individual pen, and to buy an individual pen of that style, some of them were more expensive than the set. It's like, excuse me.
I saw the same thing, which is why I ended up with a set, because I'm like, okay, for the same money as...
Yeah.
The only thing I can guess, not knowing very much, is that the individual pens must have been like some super high quality pen.
Maybe.
That,
yeah.
you know, you're paying for the extra super high quality for some reason. And then the sets are just like, all right, here's your basic, you need an ink pen.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm edging around the mouth right now. There's like this natural, I keep hitting my camera with the paintbrush. There's this natural sort of gum line thing that's happening. I don't know if you can see that, Lauren. So I am painting around that because that's going to get the color that's going to be going onto the wings.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm still making my way up the body.
Woohoo.
Making my way.
That's what I figured.
We're getting there.
Oh, as of course, as I say that, it's all right. We're good. I got it.
I think I need to, once again, I got out of my rhythm of I'm going to stick with one side for a little while, and then I'm going to move to the other.
Yep.
And then for whatever reason, I abandoned it, and I think I need to go back to it because I'm finding that I'm missing more spots by doing it that way. But there is a lot.
There is.
I'm really liking this blue on this creature, though. We haven't really had a blue creature yet. Yeah.
We've done a lot of greens.
And in fairness, one of them was a green dragon, which we knew going into that. It's like, oh, all right.
That was going to be green.
He's going to, all the greens, every green.
Yeah.
It's going to be an evergreen.
But
sorry, not sorry.
Apparently, I've just decided I'm going to do one side, and then I flipped and I stopped. I did the same thing.
Mean, focus. Focus is good. That's what I need to get back to doing is the focus. Because otherwise I'm missing elbows and knees and armpits. It's head, shoulders, knees, and toes, and armpits are just getting completely missed.
That's okay.
And under these, under the plates, although it's getting a little easier as we go up because they get bigger.
They do.
Okay, there we go.
Oh my God.
Just
I have
settle in.
Spike that is biting into my thumb.
Yeah. You know what this is good for? We've talked about this a little bit. I'm actually gonna put the Remorhaz down for a second. We've talked about how it is important while you are painting to make sure that you don't get yourself into a weird hunched position, that you take time to stretch a little bit, you make sure that you're not in an uncomfortable position that you're gonna regret later. I feel like this Remorhaz is unintentionally forcing that because every once in a while you just have to put the thing down because it's so spiky.
The
And
mini
that's a good time to like take a little stretch. Be like,
Mhm.
all right, and then get back into it and go, oh yeah, I missed a spot right there. That kind of thing.
Yep, agreed.
So yeah, it is it is a Remorhaz that is helping us stay healthy by pain. Not usually a good way of doing it, but hey, you know. I will force you to take breaks.
Gotta love it.
Banana Mobster wants to recommend Skewer as a name, which, considering what it's doing to my thumb right now,
Skewer.
Yep.
Oh, that might be fun. Kind of like that.
Oh, Orion Noir says, I went to a local game store for a Valentine's date to paint that model, the owl bear from WizKids. I love that as a date idea. That is super cool.
That's sweet.
I think that is brilliant because that gives you each something to focus on and something to do and like comfortable silences and yet, you know, something to talk about. That is amazing.
It's a fun idea. That's really sweet.
Back in the days of Caves and Fire, when PAX was just PAX and hadn't turned into PAX West yet,
right?
There was one of the mini companies would get an entire room in the Washington State Convention Center, and they'd be selling their minis, and then they would just do a take and paint. And the whole idea is you could show up and absolutely for free, and they just had minis available and paints and brushes and people on hand to.
That.
I don't. I
they
think
had
it was
something
the
similar
Reaper.
to that. I think a few of them do it.
Yeah.
Quite honestly.
I remember going one year, that became one of those, hey, I'm going to go to this every year because it's super cool. And they even had, and I've got it back there, back in the 4th edition days, I played a Dragonborn sorcerer.
Ooh.
And so when I went, I had, and it helped at this point, I think, because I had already bought some stuff. And then I'm like, I'm looking for a Dragonborn sorcerer that I really, you know, I'm playing this character and they did not have one. And so one of the people that was there that was just helping with the taken paints said, do you like this sorcerer or do you like this Dragonborn? I'm like, oh, this sorcerer looks pretty cool, but I can't find a Dragonborn. And so he's like, you buy that, I'll go ahead and kit bash and stick a Dragonborn head on it. And it was super, like it was amazingly fast. And then so I have back there a Dragonborn sorcerer that was all uniquely kit bashed. Super fun to watch.
There is something, because I have done it personally myself, there is something rather disarming when you have to decapitate a miniature twice over, just like, you know, swap out a head. But it is amazing what you can do to mesh different minis together to really get the look you want for your miniatures. I have done many of that in the past.
Oh, yeah. And fortunately, with it being a sorcerer and me wanting to get the robed look, we didn't have to worry about the rest of the body because it was all just robes. So it wasn't like, well, but the legs are human legs and the this are human this because, you know, you weren't going to see them.
Can't see it.
Right, I've got one more leg, and then I have to go back and look for all of the leg things that I missed.
How did you? Are you fully done yet? Because I'm like,
Oh, no. I haven't even.
How do?
Because I started from the back and I went up, and you've already done a whole bunch of other stuff. So
drifted.
I mean, that's okay. Like,
it's totally okay. I'm laughing. I'm like, I think I just got to the point where a certain area was hurting to hold it so long. I'm like, I'm going to switch to different spots.
That actually is a really good idea. I should have thought of that.
Happened.
I should have thought of that.
More ouchies.
I mean, maybe if I paint it, then it won't be so ouchy.
I'm hoping it helps. Again, it's all about the details, and it's all for the details. I get why they're so spiky. I get the points, but
you get the point.
That was not intended.
I don't care. I'm amused.
There you go. As long as everyone's amused. Has everyone else got the point?
Chat, are you amused?
Do I amuse you, darlings?
Oh, I looked over at chat and everyone's talking about void dragons, and now I'm like, ooh.
Yes,
Ooh.
please.
Could you
Thank
imagine painting a Void Dragon mini with that Vanta Black? Have you done that?
No, but I wanna.
I want to do that so bad.
No, but I wanna.
That would be amazing. Like, that would be.
mean,
I am usually a Theater of the Mind player. If I had a Void Dragon painted with Vanta
I would
Black,
slap that on the table just for intimidation factor.
I would run a game on a grid just to
Just for
use that
that.
mini.
Love it.
Just be like, look what I have. I have a black hole of a mini.
I am actually going to be painting a Moonstone Dragon this weekend, I've decided.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. I have a lovely sculpt that I think would work nicely for it because there's not an official that I know of yet. Nolzur's one. But there's another mini I have. Not a Nolzur's. But this other dragon miniature from a different company. It would fit the bill.
Yeah.
Stylistically. So I'm going to see what I can do.
I mean, with Fizbin's just having come out, there's a lot more dragons that are suddenly.
Sure, there are going to be more dragon minis in the horizon, quite frankly.
Oh, I hope so. I mean, there was a whole bunch of dragons that came out with that book. That's like, all right. I'm sure it's going to be interesting to try to figure out with the gemstone dragons, how do the floaty bits?
Yeah.
How floaty bits happen?
They had an interesting way, because I actually have this sapphire right behind me. Yoink!
Yoink!
This is not, please, I'm going to show you the sapphire dragon. This is not the actual way it looks. I went back and I did my own painting. I did an after factory treatment. So what they did for the floaty bits,
aftermarket treatment.
I did. So it does not look like this, folks. Sorry. This is just me being a mini painter, and this is what we tend to do with a lot of pre-painted miniatures.
I mean, that's fair.
That's how they treated the floaty bits. They kind of had like this little spacer.
Oh yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Stand out. So that's what they did for that one. And the same thing for the Emerald Dragon, which I also have, but not accessible within arm's reach.
Oh, I got on the wings. Oh well.
It's okay. A little bit on the wing. Whoa, pardon my shedding. A little bit on the wings is not going to be a deal breaker. I have a few little spots that have happened as well.
It's just hard getting right around, because once again, it's that
texture.
It's the texture, and then it's the bone plate, because I want to get on the side of the bone plate, and that ends up being wings. Ooh, trying to figure out how to hold this is also interesting to get at that spot.
This has been the greatest challenge of painting this miniature today, is angles and positioning.
Angles and positioning. Nothing.
I didn't say.
I mean, I'm doing a bad job of showing it because, like, my light's down here. But yeah, I'm doing a lot of this. I'm doing a lot of this. I'm doing a lot of ha. Because I'm going up the neck now, so I'm definitely getting to a point where
pain in the neck is what it's gonna be. I'm kidding.
Yeah, but it's a little harder to get to. Real quick, as far as the head goes, because you had said edge around the mouth.
Edge around the mouth.
You probably want to avoid the eyes.
I did paint over the eyes, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah. How about the big long? You did get the mustache spikes.
The mustachios, yes.
Okay. Well, that'll make the neck a lot easier, because then you won't have to worry about the mustache.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what I'm calling it now. The mustache.
Mustache. Makes sense.
Squeaky the Fool asks a question that actually has many people have asked, which is, V, how often do you paint your rings by accident?
Never.
Whereas I paint my hands by accident all the time, so I don't know how you avoid it.
Honestly, I think it's like it becomes second nature. The longer you're painting, the more you like. Obviously, these are intentional paints. The red was because I was not paying attention today. So
I mean, it happens.
It does happen, but honestly, I mean, I'm painting in a white shirt, folks. That's how unconcerned I am about paint slush. So
these paints are also really easy to wash off when they're still wet. Quick at enough, least.
Yeah, just rubbing alcohol. You can pull the pigments out, no problem. I've done it numerous times.
And even when it has dried on my body, because if I get paint on me in the first 15 minutes of the show, guess what? I've got paint on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a little bit of soap and water, and it's come off real easily. So That is why there is the
It's with
the stuff you
acrylic
put
paints.
on.
Let's make that clear. Acrylic paints.
Yes, with
Yeah.
with the acrylic paints that we are currently using.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's also why we've
Mhm.
got the spray bottles of stuff. Words. Words,
Trust me, I
V.
get it. I get it. It's a Friday and the words are taking their vacation early.
Yeah. The funny thing is, though, this is every Friday.
Because
This
we're
is
also at
just
the
our
end of the
Friday
week.
life. You know what it is? We didn't have Griddle Champions, and so we didn't have our breakfast.
Oh, didn't have our breakfasties.
Yeah, we totally missed our breakfast.
Tell
All
me.
right. Let's get you horns. Let's get these horns going.
One way or another. I'm gonna find ya. I'm gonna get you, and I'm done.
There you go. There you go.
Done, Twitch.
Also, I was enjoying that Sailnit said, "Isn't this all neck?"
Pretty kind of feel, yeah.
You're not wrong.
Neck, spine. What are you, Sneak?
What are you?
What are you?
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a big giant spine.
It is.
Painting these long, I mean, I guess they are horns, but the really long ones with the really interesting texture on them is a weird accordion feel.
Mm-hmm.
This is an interesting painting sensation.
It is. It's a textural
Not bad.
adventure. No.
Textural adventure is a good way of putting it. It's a textural adventure. There's definitely a lot more side. I'm doing a lot more side swiping on this thing in order to get like inside all of the bits and pieces.
Swipe or no swiping? Kidding.
Except on these mustaches.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting into extended mani-pedis, but it's all pedis, I think. Right? This is the deluxe.
Or all
pedi.
manis.
Oh,
yeah.
Which is a scarier thought? All legs or all feet? Or all feet or all hands. Speaking of words.
I don't know. Because like multiple feet are just that arachnoid disturbing thing.
Right.
However, multiple hands. All right, chat. Answer this question. What is more disturbing? If this thing is nothing but hands or nothing but feet?
Yeah. What would make you nope more?
What would be the scarier thing? And that's what we'll go with.
Exactly. Are these hands or are they feet?
Garwar was very quick to say feet.
Okay.
Feet are
Why is that,
formidable.
Garwar?
Sailnit says hands.
Not at all. Keeping this in mind for when I DM
you.
If I get a chance to, it is.
Garwar says, helping hands from Labyrinth made me totally okay with hands.
Oh, how curious. Yes. That is fair.
That totally makes sense.
Yes.
Banana Momster says, prehensile feet?
Oh!
Oh, and Banyan brings up a good point. Feet. Imagine the smell.
Lord, good thing it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing it lives in cold environments.
Mm-hmm.
There's not many monsters that speak to their scent.
Yeah. I have found as a
the
DM.
right?
Yeah, pretty much. But I have found as a DM, if I can come up with scent sensory information, that is so helpful with describing all sorts of funness.
It totally helps. I mean, like with a black dragon, absolutely describe the swampy environment. That's so given.
Oh yeah.
But in terms of like how the monsters themselves would smell, huh?
Yeah, but
like
you're not wrong.
I'm trying to think now.
If it's all feet,
singe. But I'm thinking like what they do and how they attack and where they are. Almost like I can see this kind of smelling sort of like a outside campfire in the winter.
I mean, that's a nice smell though.
But
I'm okay with that smell.
But you gotta incorporate their prey and stuff. But there's gotta be like a burnt meat or something smell encountered or involved. I don't know. See, now my brain's thinking like, but what would it smell like?
But that's that. Once again, that's what happens when you're a DM.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, or just a D&D player in general, but
True.
definitely as a DM, there's that constant. All
But
right,
what
well,
if?
but how would I describe this in battle?
Mm-hmm.
How would I go after this with my players?
Yeah. Like in terms of how it would move and everything like that, how it would sound burrowing through the ground, all of that. Like I'm automatically thinking of ways to do it, but it's scent. I'm kind of stuck on how would I describe its odor.
And once again, I think if these are all feet, I think that is going to be a different experience than if they're all hands.
Yeah. Or perhaps they're really just claws. I don't know at this point.
I mean, maybe they're both. If you walk on them, they are hands. If you their feet. If you grab things, they are hands. These could definitely be both, right?
Sure.
Why not both?
Good Lord.
I'm getting there. I'm going to have to eventually grab
four legs left, and I'm finding spots as I go along.
Oh yeah.
Because
for sure. Me too.
Texture.
Well, and I think I've finished as much around the face as I can do without getting a smaller brush. Yeah. So I'm kind of forging forward, and I'll go back with the smaller brush later.
Sounds fair to me. Oh,
because I just got to go down the back. Just gotta get this back going. Brick Layer Tim says pincers.
Oh,
maybe.
That
does make sense.
Bricklayer Tim, I like how you're thinking. Because then you can get the clacky sounds.
Oh, okay.
That would be terrifying.
I'm like, that's terrifying. I heard that noise and I wasn't sure if there was something else going on or if you were suddenly...
had the sound. See, now I have the sound description for it.
And pincers are both hands and feet.
There we go. So they're pinchers.
They're pinchies. Maybe that's another name for this creature. Pinchies.
Ouchie pinchy.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Getting there.
Oh, my Lord.
These bigger minis, we always run into this. Like we had that with the dragon too, right? Where like halfway through, oh geez, there's a lot of blue. There's a lot of green.
It's a lot of green. It's a lot of blue. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of.
But it's getting there. Yeah, Mr. Pinchy, says Neon Trion. Definitely. Ooh, Rat with Wings says multiple feet means multiple shoes, but multiple hands with multiple opposable thumbs. Shudder. That is true. Yeah, once you start classifying things as hands and feet, then there's all kinds of questions that you have to answer. Yeah. And I say have to by, as a DM, it's fun to answer. And there's no wrong answer.
No.
Just the answer you come up with for your game. This is how I end up going down weird rabbit holes talking about bags of holding.
Amazing.
I listen, one of these days we will paint a bag of holding and I will spend the 2 hours asking you questions about a bag of holding.
Okay.
And every answer you give me is correct because there are no wrong answers, because the bag of holding is one of those amazing items in D&D that everybody wants, that is super useful, that everybody has had the experience of talking about putting a creature or, a friend or someone inside the bag. Right. But the rabbit hole you go down after you ask those questions is amazing. Because I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, the supplementary questions when you want to just sit and have fun are just amazing. But you have to go into it with the express, there are no wrong answers from this point onward, because the description of the item does not cover this.
Huh. I like it.
It's amazing. It's one of my favorite items in D&D because of that.
They are neat to use.
And they are one of those items that help with DMs and players like me
Absolutely.
who don't want to have to worry about encumbrance or how the heck am I carrying this thing.
Mm-hmm. It's also good for storyline plots. When they forget that, a bag of holding going into a bag of holding makes fun things happen.
Oh, that never happened on Untitled Champions Presents. That never happened. Nope, no one ever did that.
Totally was not a thing.
No one broke the universe by doing that.
Nope.
Absolutely.
No one needed gods to intervene to fix it.
No idea. Yeah, on a stream in that moment where it's like, oh, we still have a little bit of time before we're gonna take a break, and then all of a sudden, oh, we're taking a break now. There's a break happening now.
Priceless when that was happening. I was like, okay.
And then everybody else's face when they all realized what was going on, because I think a lot of people had forgotten about the multiple bags of holding.
There's a little rule about that one.
Yeah. We're trying to talk around spoilers, but if you haven't seen Idle Champions Presents The Trials of Mount Tiamat, which is the second major campaign?
Mini campaign, yeah.
Mini campaign? Are we calling them campaigns? That makes sense.
Calling them series, if that helps.
Series also makes sense. And I believe all those are up on YouTube as well. So
yeah, they are.
All right, I'm going to switch to a smaller brush and try to do some of this mouth work.
Nom, 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 nom.
Mouth work, sure.
I mean, I'm doing my own because I'm doing concentration faces.
Ooh, Squeaky the Fool asks, so are they knees or elbows? And my answer is porque no los dos. Why not both? They're probably both.
Or shoulders. Never mind.
I feel like, and of course, this is human anatomy put onto a Remorhaz, but like the closer to the body it is, that is an armpit. The next after the armpit is the elbow, and then it just turns into whatever.
Then it just turns into the pits.
Then it's just the pits.
And just forget it. Okay, I think I am about as covered as I could possibly cover this.
I am close. I'm working on.
I say that and then I see another little white spot.
I feel like sometimes I say it out loud
and then it
just to force those spots to pop up, because like as soon as I say it, that's when it happens. And so why not intentionally tempt the fates? Be like, fate. I think I'm done.
Hey, fate.
Go ahead and prove me wrong.
There we go.
Yep, I'm just doing a gentle paint around the mouth, even though I've already got blue in the mouth, and I'm gonna have to fix that. I see you. All right, so we're gonna make you spot of blue.
Dark blue gray is what's coming up next. Once I get my brush rinsed. We need the fins
that mouth while I still have the red wet enough on my paper plate.
There you go.
So I'm just gonna fix this right now.
No, I don't blame you. All right, so we're gonna do a dark gray blue. So it's gonna be a mix of Stonewall gray, a little bit of black, and the ultramarine blue. And that's gonna go on the wings, or as I've been calling them, fins, and the base. You know it's all about that base, about that base.
All right, now it's all about that tongue. There we go. Ha 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 ha. I gotcha.
Fate, hold my beer.
Okay.
Says Rat with Wings.
Okay. I was listening to what you said, but then I was also very carefully trying to get inside of a mouth. So if you could be so kind as to remind me, what are we doing?
Stonewall gray, ultramarine blue. I'm going to do equal parts of those two, and then add in a drop of black.
Okay. And probably quite a bit because you said wings and what else?
Wings and base. So yes, actually, as I'm saying that, yes, let's add a little bit more. We will be thinning it, granted, but let's be safe.
Better safe than sorry.
Exactly. Sorry. Apparently, I don't want to hold my Stonewall gray today. I don't know why.
It's okay. Apparently, I don't want to hold my mini.
Well, that makes sense. That dang thing has ouches on it.
Yeah.
Is that a bubble or is that a... Nope, that's a bubble.
It's a bubble.
Let's see
Hi,
what's
Maverick, too, and welcome. And welcome to
Hello.
everybody else who might be coming in from Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. Welcome to hour 2 of our Remorhaz paint, where we are painting a Remorhaz because, why not? Spiky Boy, because, ouch, ouchie, ouchie you. If you are joining us and wondering, hey, I've got questions about mini painting, or I've got questions about Idle Champions, or I've got questions about spikes, go ahead and ask them in chat with question in big capital letters before your question, and our wonderful moderator, Martin, will be grabbing that, putting it into our backstage chat, so that while I am desperately trying to mix colors, I don't miss your question.
There we go.
So it's a little hard to see, but yours kind of looks like a lavender?
It's sort of like a classic blue denim at this point. So we've gone from a dark denim to a classic blue denim.
Okay, so definitely a lighter color than what we were just doing.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Then I am happy.
As long as you're happy, then happiness is. So, I'm going to attack the wings first.
Attack the wings.
And then do the base.
Okay.
I think therefore I err.
And just to be clear, not the spikes.
Not the spikes on the back. No.
Not the spikes on the back.
But definitely everything that's involved in the wingage, you want to paint that.
In the wingage.
Don't forget to thin your paint.
Oh yeah. I'm actually gonna do that right now. I did not do that earlier.
Thin your paints.
It's funny that you mentioned the eyedropper that you have and how happy you were, and I had a moment where I'm like, oh yeah, I should get an eyedropper. I have an eyedropper. I realized because so
Excellent.
I have a couple of glass dip pens and some of the ink from glass dip pens.
Yep.
And glass dip pens, when you get those inks, you have to put them into basically there's like a little tiny cup to put your ink into so that you're not having to dip your pen directly into the bottle, because that's a bad idea. And it comes with a tiny little eyedropper. And it's adorable. So I got behind me one, but I can't walk away or else this Remorhaz will attack me.
I mean, no lies detected with that statement, to be honest.
All right. You are thin. Let us attack a wing. Ooh, Cryos Emerson says, I have this mini. It's on my shelf of shame, unpainted, glaring down at me with those bug eyes as I paint the latest new mini I impulse bought last week. Hey,
see?
At least you are painting something.
Yes.
And if what you are painting right now is bringing you joy, then do not let Spiky over here guilt you into painting something that you are not excited to paint. Let them glare.
It's not a shelf of shame, it's a shelf of potential.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, jeez. I just got poked with a spike. I flinched and I got this on the other color.
Oh! It happens.
Working hazard.
It happens.
So I'm basically just taking a wet paintbrush with just some water, and I am putting it over that spot and just quickly pulling it off the other paint. And ta-da, we're better.
And ta-da! Yeah, I mean, I think anyone who gets into tabletop miniatures ends up having a couple of unpainted minis. I think it's just a hazard of being a fan of the hobby. And I say that because I have unpainted minis that I have literally had for years that people gave to me, despite the fact that I don't paint minis and I usually play theater of the mind. So it's like, it's very nice that you've given this to me, but you've given me guilt. What are you doing? But yeah, I think it just happens. I think people we all just have a couple of minis that are hanging out in our lives that are angry at us.
Couple scores in my case. Couple scores of a couple scores.
4 score and several minis ago.
Oh, I definitely have. Probably have 8 scores, come to think of it. At least.
Yeah.
At least 8 scores of minis.
But once again, if the ones you are painting are the ones bringing you joy, then there you go.
Even unpainted, they bring me joy because I look at them like, someday I will get to you. And someday you're going to look friggin' cool.
And in the grand scheme of things I have purchased to do something with and then have not actually done something with, minis are fairly inexpensive. You know, unless you're buying like the unpainted Tiamat, which
right, that's a different story.
I kind But yeah, I feel like if I've spent $8 on a mini that ends up just sitting somewhere, like
That's fair. Yeah.
I have spent more money on less.
This is, yeah. No lies detected.
Oh, come on, Wing. There you go. All
Wing
right,
it.
I'm gonna move to the other side of this wing. I'm gonna
Don't
do one
forget
wing at a
to
time.
get the edge of the wings when you flip over.
Yeah. I was just looking at that. I'm like, all
Yeah.
right. I'm just gonna. I might actually just start with the edge. You may purchase the whole mini, but you'll only need the edge. Oh, and I just saw a place I missed with the other blue. Well, we're gonna keep going. Forge ahead. Don't look back.
Kind of how you want to handle these as well, anyways. If you see them in the distance, keep moving.
Yeah, there's that too.
Engage only if you are ready.
Engage only if you absolutely have to, because as we talked earlier, they are terrifying.
They are. They do damage.
Yeah. They are fun though, like for an
yeah.
appropriately leveled party to give a nice challenge to. What I like about them is they've got a unique power set. They're not just a bag of hit points that are going to claw bite.
Right.
So that is cool. And they're also a very uniquely D&D monster. Like there's so many monsters and creatures that come from other places. And I might be wrong about the Remorhaz, that it might be pulled from somewhere else. But like, you know, you look at a dragon, and dragons are cool.
Yeah.
But so many games have dragons. So many games you can fight all these other creatures. But like this thing, is fighting me right now.
Oh, God.
Tried to show it off. Garwar says, I want to name a Remorhaz Knim Nebo, just because. Knim, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. Knim, am I supposed to say the K? Is it supposed to be Nem Nebo? That might be it, yeah. And Banyan has a timely question. Do you use anything to protect your minis after you've painted them, or you just touch up the paint of well-used ones?
One moment, please.
That's an excellent question. We haven't talked about that in a while.
Lean and get them.
I do. I have an answer, and I can show visuals too.
Yay!
I don't know why I just whipped out a voice, but hey, you got one. Yay!
I mean, it happens.
Yes. Okay, so
I just figured Helen was talking to us for a second.
Now that's this noise.
Sorry, folks, not sorry. So I appreciate and adore the use of Mod Podge Ultra. Not to be confused with Mod Podge that you use for like decoupage and paper mache. It is from the same company, Plaid. However, these are pump action spray bottles, which means you don't have to take them outside to spray them. In fact, you can just put your minis into a box and squirt with the pump action spray up here. You shake the bottles and you can spray them if you so choose, or you can remove the lid and you can dip a paintbrush inside and paint this onto your minis. The gloss is beautiful. The matte is mattifying. It is fantastic. In fact, Helen, darling, you're on call.
Okay.
Yay!
Helen has been treated with both of these. So Helen's eye has the gloss. So you can see it has this really fun glossy effect, as well as the body. And then for the tentacles, I thought, it'd be kind of creepy if they looked more matte. And so I used the matte style on the tentacles for Helen. But yeah, Helen has been sealed with the Mod Podge Ultra, both options, the matte and the gloss.
I love that you said she's been treated with both, because that is all versions of the word treating are correct in that case.
So yes, I will seal my miniatures with that. And sometimes what I do is I'll get a line of miniatures going. I find it easier to seal a whole bunch at the same time and sort of treat it that way. But you can do them as you go along. That's a really good idea. Yeah.
That is an excellent idea.
Yeah.
Because I will admit, I have not sealed up the last couple of minis that we've finished. I just, I got them finished and painted, and, you know, if I was doing a base or something, and then I took really nice pictures, then I'm like, oh, and I'm going to put them on my shelf, and then.
Yeah. You can totally seal them up later. Just make sure if it's been there for a long time. Dust them off. Otherwise,
or else I will be sealing in the dust.
You'll be sealing in the dust and you get a very interesting texture as a result.
Probably not the texture I'm looking for, but it could be fun. Oh, why
Um,
does this mouth have to get in the way?
See, there's a question. Picked up some Mod Podge Ultra matte, but the pump is broke. You can just paint it on
Oh
with a
no.
paintbrush. That's all you have to do. Just make sure. The important thing is, and this is with any sealant, varnish, whatever the company wants to call it, shake the bottle up, because then it'll help things mix together again. But you can absolutely just directly paint Mod Podge Ultra from the bottle once you've shaken.
Not stirred.
Well, I mean, you could swirl, shaken and swirled.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you can still use what's inside. You don't have to use the pump action. In fact, more often than not, I won't use the pump action because like I did with Helen, I have different areas I want to have different features. So
And I'm assuming, unlike paint, in where if you go whoopsie, I'm just going to put other paint on top of it.
right.
You probably don't want to do that with mod. You probably don't want to put like a glossy down and then do the matte.
Yeah, glossy can be a tricky one to mattify once it's been done, especially depending on which one you're using. I have learned in the past there are some glosses that you can try and mattify as much as you want, and you'll probably still end up with a satin because of how oomphed the gloss is underneath.
Oomphed.
Yeah. You want a gloss, you'll get a gloss.
Although that's an interesting sideline idea of like, hey, if you do want a satin, that would be how you would go about doing it. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
What kind of mini would you have a satin finish on, though?
Armor, heavy ones.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. If you have a mini that's mostly armor and you don't want it to be paladin gleaming, a satin's great for armor heavy miniatures. Unless you have a paladin who you just want to sparkle in the sunshine, then gloss that armor, darling.
Hey, be the paladin you want to be, whether it is cliche or not.
Yes, exactly.
Because sometimes it's fun to be that knight in shining armor cliche.
Right.
Just go out and be the good in the world.
Yes.
Why not?
I
It
mean,
also can be fun to like lean
yeah.
into those tropes and be the character that's like, I'm gonna be a little ridiculous, but I'm gonna be ridiculous in a nice way, you know?
And that's just, honestly, I play a Tuesday night game where the paladin is a true blue, gleaming paladin. Bless Rail. Absolutely. Yes, shiny armor in my opinion for him.
Yeah.
And then I have played with other paladins who are just dark.
Yeah.
They go dark.
And then there's
It's
other
still
paladins
fun.
who go on a journey, and it's not necessarily totally light or totally dark, but
It's
you
just
know.
a process of finding themselves.
Yeah. Which is good for any D&D character in a long-term
Absolutely.
campaign, I think.
Yes.
Is having that growth, and sometimes that growth means you become a vengeance paladin all of a sudden. I think I got the wings.
Woohoo! I'm almost there.
I think I'm winged.
Winging it.
I ended up just using a small brush the entire time. I was originally like, oh, I'll use the small brush and do the edging, and then I'll move to a bigger brush. And then I started painting, and I just used the smaller brush the whole time, and it worked really, really well. So I am happy.
So sorry if I went out of frame, folks. I always forget with the bigger miniatures, they do that fast. Yeah, I actually went for, it's a larger brush by nature, but it has a really nice tip point to it. So that's the one I went for. It's been serving the porpoise.
The porpoise.
Porpoise, absolutely. Okay, so I am done with the wings.
I think I'm done. I'm just grabbing a couple. What I also like about using the smaller brushes, it was easier for me not to like layer on the paint.
Yeah.
I feel like I was doing an easier, better job of not ruining all the details, but it does mean every once in a while I'm like, oh, there's a tiny little spot I missed.
Yeah.
And then you said we're doing the entire base with this color?
Yes.
Okay. That I will grab a big brush for.
Yeah, I was going to say you're going to want to jump to a bigger brush for that one. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to start with lifting the legs up.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. So this is definitely one of those times in where lift and separate from the base.
Lift. And I'm kind of doing more of a poking action underneath so I can line the tip of the brush up to the edge of the Remorhaz body.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Rather than trying to do a sweeping motion, it's a lot easier to poke it closer to where you want it to go. So I'm going to get these areas where I have the legs lofted up.
Yeah, I think
once
I'm going
I
to
get
join
that
you on
painted, I will drop the legs in that zone and move on to my next zone is the plan.
Get in the zone, the leg zone.
The leg zone. Forget auto zone. You want the leg zone.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm probably also going to go way off camera for a second.
Yeah.
As I found a good angle for this that doesn't
And
involve
if you
me
have
being
a
on
good
camera.
angle, stick with it. And hello, fantastic Tanuki. Hi, I just saw your comment in the chat. And then, so Banyan. So I have both matte and satin on the same. You can absolutely play around with where and what you are doing with your finish. Like I just said, Helen has gloss and Helen also has matte on her. You don't have to be just one standard setup, but this is the important part, that is where you don't want to take the spray approach, because if you are spraying, it's going to go everywhere. If you want to customize and make it a more dedicated finish, you will want to paint. And that is where you can get varnishes in a bottle. Vallejo has them. Other paint companies have them too. Like I said, the Podge Ultra, you just, instead of spraying it on, you just take a paintbrush and paint it on. Oh, come here.
Come here.
It is leg day.
I mean, every paint and slay day is leg day, right?
Lately, yes.
Yeah. All right. I think I got under there without getting on the legs. Hey! All right. I'm gonna try the same technique on the other side before I forget it, because I was able to find a place I could put the mini down on my paper towels, so that all I had to do was lift up a leg. Oh, and hi. Yes, thank you for looking at chat for me. Oh, Squeaky the Fool wants to know, how long have you been friends? The friendship is great to see on the show. Aww.
That's a good question.
That is. Where those...
How do we meet?
I don't know if I remember. We've been internet friends for a very long time.
Yes.
So...
I know we officially met at PAX Unplugged 2019?
That would make sense. Yeah.
I think that's where we met officially, but in terms of interaction,
It's been
a while before that.
Yeah.
Like I want to say 17 or 18 we started interacting online.
I'm pretty sure that's when I at least started following you,
Yeah,
we are some of those internet friends. And then, got a chance to do stuff together and meet each other in person. And I'm very lucky to have a lot of these kind of friends, people that were acquaintances across the internet for a very long time, and then finally had the chance to meet in person, and then have become in real world friends.
True friends, yeah.
And I hope that my struggle to get under the legs does not isn't getting in the way of talking about my friendship with V. Excuse me for a second.
Excuse me, legs.
V, you're a wonderful person, an amazing friend. Now hold on a moment. Butt legs.
Butt legs.
Butt legs?
Oh no! That's not what I
All
want.
right, well, now we have a new creature.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh, who just pulled together a creature that was like, no. I just read it last night, and Goblin Kate and I both got mad. Dan did it.
Dan did it.
It was teeth and spiders, and I was, nope. Horrifying idea. I don't remember what it was now because I blocked it.
Yeah, I could see if it's all teeth and spiders. That's definitely a thing that a lot of people are upset by.
Yep. Combine the two and just nope. It was, what was it? It stemmed from the original tweet was, spiders don't actually crawl into their mouth. They bring you, see?
Oh yes, they bring you teeth.
They bring you teeth instead.
I saw that.
Yes, and then tangents happen, and I saw the tweet, I started reading, I'm like, and I'm gonna stop and scroll. That's what I did.
I mean, that's fair. That's super fair.
Like, I am just gonna scroll along happily and blithely, forget that ever existed, which apparently my brain did for me. So thank you, brain, for forgetting that full concept.
And then thank you, brain, for remembering again.
Right? But not in full detail.
Sorry, the chat is like phrasing. Oh my god, Goblin. Yeah. D&D social media is fun like that.
It is. It really is.
But I am not one of those people who is affected by the teeth or the spiders. But I know a lot of people are, so that makes sense. I have fun pretending to be affected, and like it's creepy, but it doesn't give me the heebie-jeebies.
I'm all for being properly heebie-jeebied. This is I actually have, there's an order of heebie-jeebied. Totally cool with being heebie-jeebied. Do not skeeve me out.
Yeah. That is the technical term.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
One is fun.
Right.
The other is just no.
Yeah.
No.
If I'm skeeved, if I'm like having shivers running up my spine and like that queasy feeling in my stomach, please don't do that.
Yeah.
That's where I'm gonna throw down a card of being like, yeah, not okay.
Nope. I'd like off this ride, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, teeth and spiders I know are the things that a lot of people are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also teeth are one of those things in where people are not bothered by it until they see in a specific context, like human teeth on creatures that should not have human teeth.
No. Have you seen that fish?
Yes.
Oh,
I love that fish.
I saw that photo and my mind went to such an uncanny valley moment. And then to find out it wasn't fake, it was real, then my brain just went, hell no.
That is something we have definitely discovered on the sketching hour. We literally had an adjective on the list. For those that don't know, sketching hour is on Wednesdays. I do a show with two amazing Codename Entertainment artists, and where we basically roll on some rolling tables that are cute animals, monsters, and adjectives, and then the artists have an hour to draw an amalgam of whatever that creature is, while I work with chat for like, how'd this creature come to be? What's the creature's name? Other stuff like that. And we very quickly realized that putting human teeth on a creature that is not supposed to have human teeth is one of the quickest ways to both for fun skis people out and then for not fun. Yeah. So we actually at one point put with human teeth as one of the adjectives because it's just ridiculously fun. If you're okay with being creeped out like that, which I am. I find that fish fascinating.
Yeah. It is. It's disturbing on my level of fascination. It's a disturbing fascination.
Okay, that is an issue I've never had before.
What? Ouchies?
No, so like I talked about, I have paper towels down on my desk. And so because this has been so big and I've been working on the base, I literally have just been putting the creature down on the paper towels to kind of help hold it.
Okay.
I now have paper towels stuck to my base that I've painted over.
Oh, okay. Just put a little water on the paper towel and it'll pull back.
Okay. I'm like, what is all of this weird texture that's on this one portion of this? Oh, wait.
What?
That's paper towel. Because like this base, unlike a lot of the bases that we do, this base is actually remarkably smooth. It is a smooth piece of rock or a piece of crystal or something. Yeah. And so when I saw this one place of texture, I'm like, wait a second.
Wait a moment.
Hold on just a moment. What are you doing?
Just a moment.
All right. I think.
F-O-I-M. I know, weird. I'm getting punchy. I'm getting Friday punchies.
Well, your day is almost over, so that totally makes sense.
Remember, I'm coming to you from the future.
From the future.
It's 4:30 my time, folks.
All right.
That, and it's a pretty day out. Like, it's gorgeous. It's still too cold for me to be comfortable without like a really long sleeve shirt and a coat. But it's sunny and the trees are starting to leaf out. Aww. And some of them are blossoming. My daffodilias have sprouted, so that's been lovely to see their cheerful little faces poking up out of the ground.
Nice.
Yes, I'm quite happy about that, actually. All right, we are going to mix one more paint, and we're going to have some fun with stippling.
Sure, stippling. Yeah, I
Stippling.
think I'm done. I can't
have a
find any more. So I'm gonna call it.
Nice. So
We've got 20 minutes left to stipple.
stipple. And honestly, it's going to be stippling and then washing. Did I mention we might have a wash coming up? I forgot that
Oh,
part.
today?
Yes. Sorry, I just
that's
realized
okay.
that.
I've got them here.
Excellent. So we're going to mix a little bit of blue and a little bit of red first to get a purple color, and then we'll add black to make it more of a plum tone.
All right. And how much should we make? You didn't put too much down on there.
No, I didn't do too much because stippling doesn't require too much paint. So I'm actually going to start off with equal parts blue and red.
Okay.
Provided my red stops blowing snot bubbles.
But bubbles are fun.
I think this might be how I got red on me earlier because it's not exactly dripping. It's more like spurting out the color.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to mix those two together. Not to be confused with spurt and game, okay?
Aw. Bricklayer Tim also says, I really like the paint on Helen.
Aw, thank you.
Helen says thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
She's our little mascot now.
She's definitely our mascot. Absolutely.
Actually, we may.
I can't wait.
I'm quite happy with this color. I may forego the black.
Yeah, I ended up with a pretty dark purple. So
yeah, so did I.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. That actually will work.
Yeah, I think if I add any black to
It's
this,
gonna be too
I'm
dark.
just gonna make it black. I see a purple and I want to paint it black. There you go. All right,
Okay.
what brush are we stippling with?
So you want to use, if you have on hand, I'm actually going to rinse this off quickly and use my jankiest, most beat up looking brush.
Okay.
So go for that. And let me show you what I mean by the jankiest, most beat up brush.
And about what size beat up
Preferably
brush are we talking?
round, but this is the brush I'm going to be using. You can see it no longer has a tip. This was once upon a time a round brush, but it's turned into my mixing brush. So now it's just become a thing.
I think my number 3 is probably
that makes
probably
sense.
the closest.
Threes are the ones who tend to go fastest. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of treat this like a dry brush. We're going to put a little bit of brush on the tip of the brush, like so.
A little bit of paint?
A little bit of paint. And then I'm just going to quickly blot it onto the paper towel. And then look at the official art. There's sort of this reddish blue that's happening on the under part of the wings because of the glowing feature of the spikes. So we're going to nod to that. So we're going to stipple this onto the wing and focus it. Focus. Hold on, let me get some more going because in my talking and blotting, my brush dried out. So we're going to blot this basically where the wing and the body plates meet in that crease.
Okay.
And by stippling, it's going to create this blotchy pattern. So we are going to do that.
And is the goal to keep it on the wing, or is it okay if it gets on the body?
It's okay if it gets a little bit on the body. You want to have it sort of spreading out, fanning out from the base where the plates and the wings meet up, and then feathering out a little bit.
Okay.
Trying to do this quickly on my end so I can show as a sample.
Speed stippling.
Speed stipple.
Ah.
No. It's like, okay, that's something's misbehaved over there. What happened?
This is, it's just Spiky, showing that he loves me. That's
there.
all.
That sort of shows you the stippling effect.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So we get a better light angle. You can see the difference here from the wing I did and the other wing I did not do.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And are we only doing the underside of the wing?
Just the underside of the wings.
Perfect. So this is basically not dry brushing, but the bigger dry brushing.
Yeah.
More noticeable dry brushing.
Yeah.
That's too much.
But it's something I wanted to capture from the official art.
It's also cool because I Have we
Yeah.
done stippling before?
We haven't done this type of stippling, no. So it's a new
Ah.
technique to kind of take on.
Yay for new techniques.
Yeah.
Also, poking things are fun.
Mhm.
Poke,
Especially because we've been poked so much by these two.
yes.
Time to poke back.
Stippling when you want to poke
me,
back.
or stipple you. I stipple you.
It's hard to stipple or do any kind of poking and not do the
Yeah. It
Not
does
make
have
noise.
a visceral feel to it when you go in.
Yeah, I guess it's now time for me to buy a new number 3. I mean, this number 3 has lasted me
There you go.
29 episodes, so 29 weeks
That's a respectable lifespan for these
Yeah.
types of brushes, honestly.
of painting every single week for 2 hours a week. And one of the
yeah.
brushes that I use pretty much
Yeah, I was
every
gonna say,
single.
a 3 is definitely,
Yeah.
because actually this is a 3 too. A 3 as well, I should say, not a 3 too. The 3s are the
I
workhorses.
figured that's what you meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is super cool looking. It's not going to show up as well on my camera because I don't have the nice close-up camera, but I am very
Yeah.
happy with how that looks.
Yeah, it's a fun little point of interest for these.
Yeah. Especially right there where the wings flare.
Mm-hmm. That's just it.
Sylvester X came for the code, stayed for the art. Aw, thank you.
Yay.
Can't even describe how overwhelmed I feel with the community as a whole. Keep up the amazing work. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Glad you can join us. We are definitely one of the shows that's a little less focused on Idle Champions as a game and more just having some fun with some art, but definitely stick around. First off, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
We're happy. But in less than basically 20 minutes after us is Garwar with his guide to everything. So if you do have some hardcore game questions, Garwar's one of your guys. Garwar can help.
Yes.
Oh, and Mork Vendy just asked, where can I get one of these dragons? Which I think Remorhaz are they monstrosities or
They're monstrosities. They are
Okay.
monstrosities, yeah.
But I totally understand why you think they're
Yes.
dragons.
Oh, absolutely.
So these are from Whiz Kids. They're, I never say this, Nolzers?
D&D,
No.
Nolzers Marvelous Miniatures line. Yep.
Best place to get them is your friendly local game store. Give them a call, see if they have them in stock. If they don't, Whiz Kids is a pretty easy to get
Yes.
from retailers, so they can probably order it. If you are in a place in where you cannot get access to a friendly local game store, which is unfortunately for a lot of people, you can
Okay.
find these
Yeah.
on Amazon.
Yep.
Amazon.
Amazon.
But definitely look local.
Yep. Amazon. You can also do D&D Mini, D&Dmini.com. That is the official D&D miniatures shop for WizKids for Dungeons and Dragons. There's also shop.wizkids.com. You could absolutely do that too. So there's a few places, and you can also check out Miniature Market. That's another great resource for unpainted miniatures. If you are looking and searching, I would highly recommend that as well. So we have these guys
Super
pretty
blue.
much, very, very blue, very, very dark blues. But remember, we're working undertones, the base colors now. We're going to make these lighter next week is the plan. But because of what we're going to be doing next week, we're actually going to do the wash midway through, which gasp, what? Is the usual, more traditional way of doing washes, which I know I don't do that often because I tend to go more off the cuff and traditional. So we're going to want the Drakenhof Nightshade from, actually, let me cap my paint before I forget and I keep talking. It's just being exposed to the elements. So, oh, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying the techniques here. Wiki Witch. I like that. That's fun.
As you pull out what you need for those that don't have a wash, what paint will you suggest thinning down to turn into this wash?
What I would do is mix some blue and black together to make, again, sort of a darker navy blue. And you'll want to thin it out with a lot of water to make it a broth. You want it to look like a dark blue broth. And if you give me just a second, I can get...
Yeah.
Once I've rinsed the brush. Oh, there's my other brush. I'm looking for my wash brush.
And as you grab your wash brush, I will grab my drink because I'm
Yeah.
gonna talk about the Discord again, discord.gg/ILChampions. The reason I mention the Discord again is that in the list of basic supplies that you need in order to play along with us, it does not include washes. Washes are kind of, a fun thing to have, and the reason is because you can take the paint that you get in the paints set that we recommend, and like V said, just add a lot of water in order to make it into a wash. And I have done that myself, and now I have a little bit of wash to play around with. So yeah.
It works out. So we're going to put the Drakenhof on the body. So not on the base, just the body.
How about the wings?
That's part of the body too. So the wings, the body, and basically we're bringing out all those recessed details now because we're going to do a heck of a lot of dry brushing next week.
Heckin'
lot.
All right.
So I'm going to just start up at the top and work my way around.
I have started at the bottom.
Oh, wait. Now I'm looking at the face. I forgot to. I wanted to get some of that lighter blue on the mouth. I can do it tomorrow. I can do it. So tomorrow, actually, off screen, I'm going to paint that area blue.
That is a later problem.
Yeah, that is a later problem.
How about the legs on this for the wash?
They will also get the wash, yeah.
Awesome.
But the reason why I want to do this wash now is because next week we're also going to address these spikes, but the spikes themselves are going to be using warm colors of yellows, oranges, and reds. So I want to get the cool tone wash on first before we go there.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And this wash actually can also go in the mouth.
Ooh. All right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. See, if I hadn't have put the wash on already near the mouth, I would have just quickly painted it, but trying to paint with wash that's still wet, it gets messy.
Not a good idea.
No, it just gets messy and frustrating. So I can address that. Once this is dried a little bit, I'll go back in with the blue and fix that little hiccup of my whoops-a-daisies.
Which, you know what? Like we always say, it's just paint.
Exactly.
You can just paint over it. You can just take off the paint. It's just paint.
And it happens with mini painting. You're like, oh, I forgot a spot. And it's just going back and fixing it. It's really not end of the world. It doesn't make the painting of the mini cease. Let's put it that way.
I've ruined everything. Throw away the mini.
I mean...
the legs. I forgot what leg I was on. I had a moment. I did something funny and then I lost track of my legs. All right, I'm back on track with my legs. Yeah. There we go. Back on track.
I mean, you do need legs for track.
These legs were made for tracking. That's just what they will do. They'll also continue to bite me.
That's the other thing. Like, boy, howdy.
But we're getting there. We're getting there. This
definitely would not be a mini that I could just sit and paint all day. My fingers just would be like, no, we are not. We are done holding this for the day. You can move on.
Take that break that you so well deserve.
Yeah. Go grab that gelatinous cube. That's soft and, even though it's square, it has soft edges.
Yeah, I mean, what would be... Gelatinous cube would be good. What other mini after this would be good to go? I like a beholder. That's all eyes and roundness. And yeah. Plenty of options.
Shambling mound would be a good one too. Those tend to be a little bit more with the vine work. They tend to be a bit of a softer miniature in terms of texture because it's a lot of curvatures to the vines.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just trying to think of the roundest minis, the roundest monsters.
I am too. I'm trying to think, what is the roundest ones I have seen? Elder Brain.
That makes sense.
That's definitely a nice round.
And a Mind Flare.
Flare, yeah, I've done mine. Well, a lot of them also have clothes with like really pointy collars.
Okay. I was just thinking because like the tentacles are rounded and the teeth are sharp. The head is rounded. The teeth are sharp, but you're
clothes. They tend to be pointy.
All right, so you need Mind Flayers who are of the spellcasting variety and are wearing robes instead of... Yeah. There you go. Lots of floppy robes.
Oh,
get yourself...
How could I forget? The slods. Those are pretty gentle on the hands. texture-wise.
See, it is the only thing the slotty are gentle with. They're gentle on your hands. Not your characters, the rest.
Yeah, the Slod's sculpt is definitely Slod possessive. The Slod's comma, or not a comma, apostrophe S. They are slatty laddie, if you want plural. That's how I remember it.
The whole slotty selection.
Mm-hmm.
I did one of the slotty for the paint and take kits.
Yep.
The red one, I think?
Yeah, definitely the red one.
Ooh, putting the wash, there we go, on top of these really long spikes.
Mm-hmm.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
It gets a really nice texture brought out on it, for sure.
Oh, yeah. That makes up for the annoyance of trying to get them painted well.
There you go.
It's just to be like, accordion time. All right. As we are finishing up doing the washers, since we only have a couple minutes left,
Yes.
so I remind you all, stick around for Garwar, because Garwar's Guide to Everything is coming up, and if we talked about the Discord. Remember that this is the last couple of days and where you can purchase Dottie, the dandelion familiar, in order to have it be a donation to Conservation International. All of the net proceeds from purchases of Dottie through May
3rd?
I couldn't remember if it was 3rd or 4th for a moment, so I'm going to go with 3rd. I think it's through the end of Monday, whatever that day is. All the net proceeds go to that wonderful charity, and then you get a cute little familiar.
Oh my gosh, a little bud of a dandelion. It's just too precious.
And if you want to see that familiar being played by the person who created them, then watch a familiar quest, which is on Monday evenings, and you can see Hope Lavelle playing as Dottie, the dandelion familiar, who is also adorable.
Absolutely adorable.
All right, now I'm at the point where I'm like, what have I forgotten? Have I forgotten anything?
I know, right?
I hope not. I hope not. Let me take one last look to see if I've missed any chat questions. Greg and Stuff says, question, I found my paints drying out faster than I can get it on the Mini. Do you have any suggestions on a wet palette or other suggestions?
If you're going to go with the wet palette, I do recommend Redgrass Games wet palette. It's the first one I've ever used that I actually really like and has consistently kept my paints nice and, forewarning on this word, folks, moist. It's a good one. I would recommend Redgrass Games for sure for their wet palette. The other thing you can do is if it's really an issue, it sounds like your environment is heated and dried right now, get a humidifier going next to you. Just like a little personal humidifier even. Will do the trick.
Or if you're like me and you live in Seattle, just open a window.
Just open a window. Get the moisture back in
Just
there.
turn off the dehumidifier for a moment.
Right?
And there you go. And there you go.
It's amazing how much your environment really does play into paint drying time.
And I've definitely noticed it more in these last couple of weeks, because we have very slowly moved to the not quite as wet season. Because in Seattle there is the wet season, the not quite as wet season, the fairly dry season, but that's fairly short. So we're in the not quite as wet season, and the paint on my paper plate does actually dry much quicker, noticeably quicker, I should say. All right.
Okay, so that is done. Same. So you can see, right? The wash is pulling into those details that are on the wings as well as into the texture. It's kind of hard to see right now with flashback from the moisture of the wash, but this means this is all falling into those recesses. So when we go and we do our dry brushing next week, we're going to really have fun bringing out the details that are on the higher levels of the sculpt surface. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do with dry brushing. So we're going to do spike work and dry brushing next week and some finer details and hopefully get to the base as well. And wrap up our, this one, I'm naming him Ouchie. It's officially Ouchie.
I think I'm still going with Spiky, but I need some suggestions. Also, I just realized as I was showing off my mini, I'm like, I didn't do the wings. Whoopsie. So I'm just going to finish up the wings as we say goodbye. Next week will be the second half of the Remorhaz. And then owlbear
I
time.
can bring out now because my hands are free. So we will be using, hold on, let me move my light because, you know. So this is the owlbear miniature from WizKids. Again, chems primed, all that wonderfulness. Trevor and I are going to have fun and we're going to do speed paint owlbears, which means we're going to try and get these done in 1 2-hour episode. Fingers crossed.
And you know what? If you don't, you and Trevor will just have to bring that owlbear to another episode to finish up. And I will either join you on screen or I will be an audience member in chat and do my own owlbear. So there's no wrong answers here.
Yeah, but they're miniature.
Oh, and they're owlbears. And someone has to tell TTRP gifts because owlbears.
Because it's an owlbear. End of story, full stop. Owlbear.
Owlbears. And there we go. I got the wings. I got the wings done. So now, aha.
Washes give you wings.
Yay. Washes make me so happy. All right. I'm going to set that aside to dry. I'm going to close my wash. And we are going to say thanks for joining us. Stick around for Garwar's Guide and we'll see you soon.
Yes. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.